Hi, I'm Maggie Serpica, also known as Maggie McGowan. I've been tattooing. This will be my 24th year. And yeah, I work here at Bullseye Tattoo every once in a while. And I also have my own shop in New Jersey, Maplewood, homesweetHomeTattoo.com. Yeah, I'm joined here with my friends as we are at Bullseye today filming this.
Well, my name is Ivan Estevez. I go by Cami Arts on Instagram. Same website, same Facebook, same everything. I've been tattooing almost 18 years, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I work here at Bullseye Tattoo in Staten Island.
They call me Matt Typicar. I'm from New York, Staten Island. I work here at Bullseye Tattoo as well. I have been tattooing since roughly 2008. So, doing it a little while. My Instagram is Matt Fibicar.
All right, talking machines. Yeah, I had this bright idea. I wanted to talk about my tattoo machines and the order I got them, and then I figured we should all do it. I know that this was my very first one, right? And this is a national tattoo machine. And what is cool about it...
If you can just show it to the camera.
Yeah. I want to do it like, how do they do the makeup videos on TikTok? Or like... So... I had two of these machines, the exact same thing, identical. And the only thing that made one a shader in mine was just really how you had the armature bar basically configured, right? And this guy at the shop took an Allen key and he took them all apart and he made them in a little pile and like did like that and was like, when you put them back together, you can tattoo with them.
How long did it take you to put them back together?
It's been like a week, maybe.
That's not bad.
That's not bad, but I was like, I'm a tinkerer.
Were you following like a guide or just...
I had the Huck Spalding Tattooing A to Z book, which is like an ancient artifact at this point.
I have that one.
Yeah. And I used that to kind of like guide me because these are national machines and there's a really good chance that these are the ones that were illustrated in that book. And I had a big ass national power supply that was like this big. It was huge. It was like very ancient looking. And yeah.
The one that they use at the hospitals that looks like...
Yeah, it looked like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There was a guy that worked here. He had one of those.
That was my first machine and somebody stole it from me.
Stole it?
Yeah, somebody stole it because it became vintage and then cool. So, somebody who does traditional stole it from me.
What was the next machine after that?
All right. So then, around the time I started tattooing, I was getting tattooed by Tim Kern, and he was living in, I think, Chicago at the time, and I knew he was going to be at the New York convention that year. I think that was like 2002. And it used to happen in May of 2002, the New York City convention. So I went to the convention. I had already gotten tattooed by him months before, and I would just go hang out, and I was watching him tattoo for a few hours one day. And I asked him what tattoo machine he was using, and he was like, "Oh, I just got a new Mickey Sharps." I was like, "Which one?" He was like, "It's called a hybrid. I've been using it all weekend." So I copied him, and I went and bought that day a Mickey Sharps hybrid tattoo machine. This was my first like real deal ever tattoo machine, and I loved it. Just because Tim used it. I was like, good enough for Tim Kern, good enough for me.
I always wanted a Mickey Sharps. Never got one.
Never got one?
No, I never got
a rite of passage to have a Mickey Sharps.
I think I used to use like the shop owner. I used to use his Mickey Sharps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was the only time I ever used one. I can't remember if they were good or not. This is a good invention right here.
Yeah, back in the day, we had like...
And the thing is that these, you put an armature bar and a spring in there, and you got your machine back,
Yep.
After how long you had this for?
Yeah, 20-something years.
20-something years. You can't say that about a rotary.
23 years, and I could probably get every single one of these machines working, actually. And then everybody at the shop I was at was like kind of making fun of me because it wasn't like a typical Mickey Sharps. And they're like, you need to upgrade another and get a liner and a shader. So then I went and got a telephone dial. Mickey Sharp's telephone dial. This is like the OG. This is like the Cadillac of coil tattoo machines. This is like you were pimping in your caddy when you were riding on tattoos with this shit. No, I love this machine. And those were those are my workhorse machines until I got actual workhorse.
What you did?
Yeah, and no, I bought this one from some guy I was working with, and this is a Soba. This is an early edition Soba. This is like probably from like 2002 or three. No, like three, I would say. And this thing still runs great.
That's the one that you told the guy about, and he's like, you know, how long you had it?
Yeah, when we were in Philly. Yeah, we were in Philly like a month ago, and we were at the workhorse booth looking out. What were we looking at? The Dan Cubans, right?
The Dan Cubans, yeah.
And yeah, we were just chatting up with the guy, and I told him I had some old school Soba machines, and he was like, "Oh, that's like old school, taking it back," you know. And
what's that one there? The silver one.
The silver one. This is a machine builder. He tattooed at Flyrite in Brooklyn. This is Mike Drexler. This is a solid, awesome machine. It's just, I love the look of it. Shiny and cool. And when I got this, it reminded me of my very first National machine. Oh, yeah. Like the shiny coils. So these are original coils on all of these.
It's crazy. After all these years.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
So original. And
crazy, right?
You know that they're still like.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, like I think I took off. Like I would tinker around. That's why they're all missing like armature bars and shit. Just because I would play around and try things out. You know, like almost all of them are missing that.
Oh yeah.
So we're just messing around.
It was just a few dollars, and you know they're back to work.
Cheap. Yeah, exactly. It was like you had your like bag of goodies, like a drawer full of.
We have a box downstairs.
A box, yeah.
We actually still have all the parts.
Right, we could put together like 10 machines.
We could
easily, right? Yeah, so you know, and I used these for a really, really long ass time until I didn't.
And what was nice, the nail tat?
So I was working at the shop, and they would give me a hard time about like hours and taking more walk-ins, and it was, now looking back, it was a laundry list of bullshit excuses. But really, it was like they were, they would have all these like stupid reasons why I wasn't getting more business or why I wasn't given extra days. And it was like, you have to dedicate more time and upgrade your things and blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And, and that's when I ended up getting this really cool, lightweight FK. And at the same time, I bought this Bishop rotary.
Well, that's the original Bishop.
Bishop, yeah. And I bought these together. I ordered them the same day. And I thought they were cool because, first of all, I never had machines that were a different color. So I went all out and got like this cool teal and red.
I got this red one here.
Yeah.
It's the same one.
It's the same exact one, right?
Just red. But I added the RCA converter to it.
Yeah, that was like new technology when you could put some RCA shit on your stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I loved this machine. I used to line with this. This was awesome. This machine, like...
Yeah. I have a Bishop too, but it's not this old. I have the V6 from 2010, I think.
Didn't I just give you one?
You gave me... No, you gave me the Neotech, the Vivace. But you know what happened with that?
No, I have that one too, don't I?
Yeah, but you probably have it in your drawer. You gave me the Vivace, I plugged it in, and my power supply short-circuited. So I put it right back to where I found it, Now you can take it back.
This one?
That one. No, not that one. I have the older version of that one, the clip core version of that one. So it's a little bigger, but not as big as that one.
Not as big as this one, yeah. I mean, and this was like, so...
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. Let me see it, Harrison. Holy shit. Yeah,
no,
like,
it did short-circuit.
Not that one, the Neotech that you gave.
Oh, okay.
That one I still have it, and it runs. But there's like a fluctuation and there's like motors on it.
Yeah, it clicks. Like it hits, but then it doesn't let go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, this one is engraved 2012.
Oh, so mine is later then.
Yeah,
so that one's 2015.
Yeah, this is 15.
Yes, this is 2012. Like, yeah, this is the first one.
Like 15, you had fancy stickers.
Yeah, well, you used to be able to customize this and get like a special little design or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a thing back in the day. When it was like cool.
And they still run,
Oh yeah, I could probably still run.
Maybe not 100%, but they're still going.
100%. Yeah, this one I know for sure would work great. Yeah. I love this machine.
Yeah, so like any coil. I have their older one, the Galaxy version of it. This is my first two FKs, and I just like the shape of this one. This was my shader and my packer, and I always try to line with this.
Yeah, I used to line with mine too.
Yeah, and then you can go by the, they tell you the 18 on the front, the 20 on the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's when they started getting a little more fine tuning to coils, because there was this little half guy right here and numbering, the springs and stuff like that. Back, I mean, at least I didn't learn it or do anything like that. Like, these are just like whatever works, throw it on there, figure out.
You use that little tool to measure the tension of it.
Right, figure the tension out, and then I would always like flip this around and bend my front spring up to give it a lot more like give, like floppiness. I would do that on this machine constantly. And my back spring, flip it around and bend it to give some tension, like all the little tricks back in the day.
Yeah.
But the cool thing was like being able to fix your shit if it broke. I wish I had what was left of my Cheyenne, because I destroyed it because I was annoyed that I couldn't tinker with the thing. It was the first one I had besides these two that like you couldn't really get to like the guts of it.
And the Spirit, the one with the vent on it.
No, it's like wait, do you have Cheyenne?
I have. Well, yeah, but
it was like that. Yeah, it was like that. It was that exact one.
Yeah,
the Cheyenne pen. Yeah, it's the Hawk pen, and it was like I could just tell that I could hear that something would just fell off track, and you can't get to it, and I started like fucking with this and trying to open it and everything, and then I realized they use like Loctite.
Yeah, I mean you could get to it.
I mean, eventually, yeah, but then you void all warranties, and they were really like pains in the ass about like even if you didn't use Cheyenne needles, like
you voided your warranty.
Yeah. So like
I used to buy old T-Tex.
Yeah, and like I knew going into it that was a real possibility, and I basically destroyed the entire machine just trying to open it.
Yeah.
At that point, it was on principle. Like, this fucking thing is opening right now. I don't care what it takes, and like I was like putting flames to. I mean, literally. Yeah, I was putting like a torch to it just to get it open. Eventually, it did, and then I was like, oh. I don't think I could fix this. But then I couldn't get back together. And so now
even if they did fix it, it would take like 6 months.
Yeah, it would take forever. And like I don't have that kind of patience in life in general. Yeah. So
I missed out on that era of Cheyenne because I didn't even switch to the these types of machines until recently. I mean, within the last few years, it's like
yeah,
too loyal to the coil.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this was the thing. These were the ones that like bridged the gap between coils and pen style machines, right?
It was hard for me.
Yeah, it's the Neotat. Yeah, I like this machine too. This one was really great. I loved working with this, and this was RCA, and it was really easy to use and super lightweight.
I'm so glad we don't have to worry about wires anymore.
Right?
That's.
And then, I used this exclusively for a long, long time. And then I decided, somebody gave me this. This was another tattooer who gave me this one. This was built by KJ from Holdfast. You can't really see it, but there's this cool little, like, filigree thing going on there. And that was really awesome. And somebody gave me this, right? And was like, hey, if you can get this working, you can have it. That was the deal. And then, like, a couple of years later, randomly, I was at Cargo and I met KJ. Really? And I was like, I have one of your machines. And he was like, oh, send it to me. I'll hook it up. So I mailed it to him, and he like retuned the whole thing and put some new parts on there and got it all nice and shiny.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. And then, so I had that for a bit. And then when I opened up my first shop, Milk and Honey, back in the day, in 2013, I wanted to open up with some nice new machines. So these are Kevin Riley's. These are a set, one liner, one shader. And I love like the pink ombre look, and my initials, MS, on each one, which is super cool. Yeah, so it's like nobody's stealing this shit. My name's on it. And this one's inscribed 2013.
Man, it matches your shop now.
Yeah, I know. I think I've always liked pink. That's clear. Clearly. And green too. So my shop is pink and green, so it's green. They're both my colors. And then I had like a drawer full, which I didn't even bother bringing because they're all like crappy, but like they were like Mithra pen style machines.
Yeah.
They were great while they lasted, but they would just kind of not last that long. And I had like 10 of them in between until I arrived at this one, which is what is this one? The Flux.
The flux, yep.
Yeah, this is the Flux. This was pretty cool. I liked the whole idea of it just being this simple thing, wireless, which was awesome. You know, that was like a big deal. I think I got this after COVID, I want to say. And that's when I saw that there were wireless machines that existed. And I was like, cool, the less shit I have to touch, the better, you know, because the world's nuts and we have a pandemic. And so I got a few of these. So I have like 3 of them.
Oh, yeah, 3 of those?
3 of these. Yeah, I have a purple one and a black one and this one and a bunch of batteries. And they did their job. They worked really good for several years. And then when I came to Bullseye, you guys all use this.
Well, we were using the flux before.
Yeah, we pretty much all use it.
And they work great until almost at the same time they all stop working.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then you try to send them back to them to fix them, and they always have some excuse or send the new one and the new battery broke. And like,
That's so annoying.
So then we switched to Bishop.
That sucks. Yeah. Well, you guys did. And then I came and started using this. And it's like, it's smaller, you know, like just battery size wise. If you just look at it, it's a little bit smaller, shorter.
Yeah.
Weight is kind of comparable. And, but yeah, I like the way it hits. It's the color packer, right? And I'm a fan. I like them. Batteries last good. They're solid. They're smooth. And that's my machine history A to Z. So
your journey.
What do you got? What do you guys got?
I got my first machines from Infinite Irons. Joey D.
Cool.
I have one of these. Infinite Irons was my first 2 professional machines.
Yeah, me too.
This was the shader, and I had the New York liner, which had the New York logo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Engraved into it. I saw the frame somewhere.
I mean, these lasted me for years. I didn't go through the whole process of like all of that. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, I never like ventured out and like got new machines. You know, like they worked and I loved them until they didn't. Yeah. And then, like you're saying, you could fix them, which is great. Like you just start making things and doing things. These lasted me like the first half of my career, like literally. And then honestly, the only reason I stopped using them was because the little coupling here, someone screwed it in an apprentice. And when it was no tube in there, that just ruined the whole thing. And I haven't been able to get it to work since. So.
Yeah, there were some weird design flaws on some of these things with that cuff in there.
I mean, it doesn't look so complicated of a fix.
No, I know, but it's, you know.
It's not readily accessible of a fix. It's like,
we tried things. You can see, like, there's drill marks in there. Like, we tried. It was just never the same after that because then it was, like, wiggling in there and stuff. So it was time. It was time. But I'm sure that with a little bit of effort, we can go back.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I saw Dan Cuban has some videos where he talks about this part, the cuff specifically, if it's like too tight on like a, and you know, what tool to use to kind of mess with it. And, you know,
the days of like putting the tubes in and then it gets stuck, wrenching it the fuck out. Like, I'm so glad that this is a thing of the past, but at the same time, I miss it. Like, I miss these.
This is from
I love them.
a certain same era, and it was such a cool design because this is like a separate piece that. This little cuff was actually movable, and then you would just tighten the whole thing onto it, you know? So, but I guess that's the difference when it's somebody who tattoos, maybe. I don't know. Was this a person who made this a tattooer?
Yeah, Joey did. He tattooed,
oh, yeah,
right?
he tattooed, right? Yeah, he did, yeah.
You know? What was next? What was the next one?
So I went on a journey, and once these stopped working, actually knockoff with, which... To be fair, worked really well. This was, you know, good for color and stuff like that.
I remember I had both of them, and the only difference was the sound. You can pick up on the sound of the fake one because it was just a little louder.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you because I didn't have the original. This was the first machine I made. I don't even remember where I think I got this icon, and then we got the cuckoo in the side of it.
Who inscribed that?
Me and Steve.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that was cool. This one worked in place of these guys for a very long time too.
So you bought all the parts separately and kind of assembled it and did a thing?
Well, remember the icon? They had the kits.
Right.
Yeah, and that was from I believe Icon, and all the parts. I don't know where the frame is from, but all the parts came from Icon, I think. So that was the original, and then slowly, I went to like the other ones, which I didn't buy any of these, by the way. These were all like I bought from people, so none of them are new. I had a Godoy machine. I don't know if you remember them. The Godoy. They had this one. It was called like I don't remember, but the coils were set at a V. It was weird, but
were they like on separate sides?
No, they were next to each other, but they were kind of like a V. It was weird.
That's interesting.
Like a Harley engine.
Yeah, actually, yeah. And it was a cool machine. That was the first machine that I went out and bought. And then the thing started heating up so bad, and it just disappeared. I don't know. It got taken at a
change your capacitor.
I don't know.
Usually that was the problem.
Yeah.
Machine hits up, new capacitor.
And
I don't know.
That's what was so awesome about using coils. Like I love these pen machines. And like there's weird loyal to the coil mentality. So a lot of people, I think it's loyal to whatever serves you in that moment, right?
Yeah.
Like, I only stopped using these heavy machines, and they're not super heavy, but I was getting pains in my hand. I was getting tendonitis, getting all these other things. But what I loved was that, like, when there was a problem, I knew how to change the capacitor myself. I knew how to do all this stuff, and it was nice to ship a machine back for like full service, but like there was a lot of DIY that you got to do with a lot of those machines.
Yeah,
I can't do.
I think like tattooing itself was a lot more DIY back then. Like a lot of it, now like the machines, if these things break, you could do nothing. It's like
you get a new one.
Yeah, you get a new one.
But you get a new one in like 24 hours. Like if you go hit up Amazon, you get a backup to get you through the week until you get a
Those are a lot more money too. Like the cost of the coils were a lot cheaper.
Well, you're paying for the convenience because one rotary machine could be like the equivalent to like 3 coil machines.
Oh, absolutely.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The motors on the rotaries, they're only meant to last like 2 or 3 years.
Which is crazy.
Maybe 5 or 10 if you're barely using it.
Yeah.
I think I paid $100 for this national machine in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I find it interesting, because you can literally see the history of tattooing when it was like where it started, and then you went all the way to modern day where it's like this looks like space age almost. Like
which one is that? What are you using now?
The Unlimited, Cheyenne Unlimited.
Cheyenne.
You can tell like how far tattooing has come.
Yeah.
From its early days to what it is now. Like there's like it's like a corporate entity almost.
I have a blue Cheyenne right here. I like the color one. So these are like limited edition, but they're basically the same. Just a different color. They have like a green one for St. Patrick's, a pink one, and this blue one here.
Nice.
So I've had like at least 4 or 5 different unlimited just because.
All right, and what's that
this one was yours.
What's the stormtrooper looking thing right there?
You don't know this one? This is the OG. This is the Injector Flight Nano.
Oh, the Injector.
Not the OG.
Yeah. So I was afraid
V2.
of those.
The Flight Nano, because they start like at 9 volt.
There's too much weirdness on them. I didn't want to like adventure into this mechanism thing there. Yeah,
this is just a vice grip, and then the cam is exposed. I got a 4.0 on this one, which you're not supposed to. But I've had this machine maybe like 5 or 6 years, and I can plug it in and still run it.
Yeah.
It actually came out with a pen style. And I was looking at it recently, and the pen style is basically this in a pen form, and you can even use the same cam from this one and just put it in a pen style and keep going. But I still use this one once in a while. So I had a 3.2 in it, so it's like really soft. And then you have the bars that you can steel. You got like softer bars, a little hard hitting medium bars.
Yeah, so that's the stuff that like I was just like, nah, that's too complicated.
Yeah. It was super adjustable, like a coil, Like a coil you can really fine tune it.
Yeah, no, I know it is, but it was a new mechanism, so I was like, I'm not venturing into.
It seemed like foreign, like it seemed like alien.
Yeah,
honestly, like it just seemed like a totally different thing that I was not willing to learn.
That's the same for me.
Yeah, I get it. Makes sense.
You're a gadget person. You have all the things. So Numas. Yeah. Oh man, I remember when they first came out. and I would
Yeah,
watch
it was not the air ones.
Yeah, they had the air.
the air compressor.
Yeah,
Literally,
compressor, yeah. I
it
remember
was
that time.
a literal air compressor, and you'd hear. I was at what convention? I think it was Boston, and you hear that like the air compressor like going on and off.
Was that
But-
Chris? Chris used to have one.
Yeah.
He used to have an air compressor and everything.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I
It
mean,
was so loud.
Crazy cool concept.
Yeah.
Think, that's some innovative shit
Yeah.
right there. You
That
know.
was, I think that was like the first thing that was innovative too. Like the rotaries were cool, but like this was like Numa had like a whole new like way to get it going. Like,
Yeah, after a
I thought it
while,
was really cool.
Yeah, they came back after a while. They disappeared after the air compressor came back.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Well, because it's ridiculous when you think about it. Like to have someone buy an air compressor.
back then it seemed like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh no, and like
No
just,
power
I remember
supply.
seeing
Like-
all the guys using that. What was it like, Mike DeVries?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe Nico. I don't know. But like it was such smooth color
Yeah.
and so like everything was like whatever smooth tattooing you would see before that, it just leveled up a notch, and I was so jealous. I was like, I
Yeah.
want that,
Yeah.
but it was just too much for me. Like, and
Yeah.
again, like the setup, and I was like,
Could you imagine if everyone
don't-
here
air
compressor.
compressors.
Have one air compressor and go home. Yeah.
Right? It's so funny. No, nowadays when you're like the one person in a shop full of people using a coil, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like that asshole with
Yeah.
the loud ass thing,
Yeah.
and we're all like,
that everyone's giving you that dirty scowl, just like
right? I know, it's so funny. And like when I used one recently, when I did that traditional piece, it was like my client was like, "What? She can't." Like we literally couldn't hear each
Oh,
other.
you were using this one, the
Yeah. Oh, that's the one.
V3R, the Dan Cuban.
Dan Cuban.
It's also a workhorse iron. They did like a collaboration, so they came up with this one. This is like one of my favorite ones for lining and stuff like that. I used to have the Sidewinder too. It was a little heavy, so I sold it, and I regretted it. I only keep the machines that really make a difference, or that I feel really make a difference. And the Numa 4, I only sold it because I got the Numa 5. But like the whole system, like experimenting with everything, I feel like these two of the Numa system is the closest you could ever get to a coil machine.
Yeah.
There's no other
I love
machine.
this.
All the machines can say that they do, but the Numa is the only one who actually does.
Is there anything like specific to the insides of it that's different from like
So-
a regular pen style, or like what?
I mean, they have a cam system in here, right? They have a swatch plate.
Uh-huh.
See, this one's covered. That one isn't. But if you take out the cam here, you can see that there's a curve there.
Yeah.
So when the motor here, the cam starts turning, it turns this, and it goes up and then kind of like whips down.
Oh yeah, you
So-
see that? Yeah.
They have different
That's awesome.
numbers, like 20, 28,
And you can change
33, and you can change them.
Yeah.
And the
That's
number is a percentage number, and the number represents like the percentage of time that the needle stays in the skin. So right now I have I think this is a 28%. Yeah, 28. So this one stays in 20% of the time that you're tattooing, or like the needle goes down, it stays in there 20%. So this is a liner. You get a old coil, and it's like a really whippy liner because you want to.
Yeah.
If you have a 40%, you want a packer, and you remember the packers here. You want them to go nice and slow and take their time to
Yeah.
leave the ink in there. So about 40% of the time that they're piercing. But yeah,
Interesting. That's actually really
I don't want to
cool.
go too much into an e-car, but
No, that's pretty awesome.
Numa is the only one who's doing the coil.
yeah. They're
Nobody
doing
else
it.
been doing
They're
it.
doing it right. It's
No,
really
yeah, I could see how that mechanism mimics what a coil does in that
Yeah.
sense, because it's like this like up and down,
Yeah.
rotation.
There's that whip,
that whip
that
down.
coil whip
Yeah.
that you like.
Well, it's like the force down and then the spring back.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I'm talking about in pen form.
Yeah.
The only other machine that is, though there are other machines that are doing it, and the Dan Cubans. It looks like a coil. It has the springs, but technically this is a rotary machine.
Mm-hmm.
But it has that spring that gives it that whip to it. But in pen form, Numa, it's the
Interesting.
best. I see my other favorite machine, which is for whip shading. When I started doing that, we got a couple in the shop. Chris has a few of them. Is the Roy Richardson. And this stipples like nobody's business. Like there is no other machine that can stipple as good as this. And the irony is, this is just an old school rotary machine. Big ass motor, It goes up and down. It's 5 millimeters, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no fancy stuff to it. It just works, and it works better than anything else.
Well, I have one of those.
Yeah.
When I switched from these guys to the pen style, there was the in between. This was the in between for me, and that's when I started using like type 3s and stippling and everything.
Yeah.
This thing I changed the way I looked at tattooing, like almost completely the way that it operated and like how you do things.
Even then, like look at those motor.
Size. Yeah, that's
I will
crazy.
say, if this ever picks up traction, I don't know what this is, so if anyone knows, it's a mystery.
The mystery machine.
It was bought in Philly one year. That's all I know about it.
Okay.
Or Baltimore. I have no idea.
I want this one.
Yeah, you need to get that one. It's
This
affordable. It's the same price as a coil machine.
This is next on my list.
Yeah.
They'll make it from scratch, and they'll send it to you.
I'm getting it.
See,
Sold.
the only reason I don't have one of those, I think, is because I don't want to go back to a wire. Like,
Oh, yeah, that is the thing. You have to plug it in or use that ankle grip, which doesn't last too long. So this one and this one, they're making me go back to like regular power supplies and cords.
Yeah.
And, Chris is already doing it. So
Yeah.
there's a reason for it.
Yeah, no, there's a reason. I'm way too lazy for it.
But
The convenience in tattooing is ruined.
And it also depends on what piece you're doing. Like, there's some, if we're doing like nothing super elaborate, you don't need to do a whole intense setup.
No.
But like on certain style pieces, like when I used the Dan Cuban, it was specifically for a traditional tattoo.
yeah, I mean, you could stipple pretty well with it.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I wouldn't, if I was just doing just like a smaller little piece, like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
I just would have been fine with my regular normal setup. But for something that I'm trying to do specialized, like if this gives really great stipple and whip sheet,
And it does.
that would be awesome to do.
I mean, you can imitate this, but at the voltage that you run this and the stipples that you get, you will have to run a different machine like almost twice as fast. But now that you mentioned that, when I just want to start tattooing and just have my machine work and not overthink, I'm going back to Cheyenne. Like Cheyenne is the staple to which I compare every machine that I buy. And I think 20, 30 machines later, I still can't find one that's better than the Cheyenne.
Yeah.
It just work.
This is
It's like magic.
the best machine I've ever used. Hands down. The best machine I've ever used. I agree fully. I can't say enough nice things about that. And for someone who I did not like Cheyenne. I didn't like the system. I stayed with coil as long as I could.
Yeah.
This, it works, it's convenient, and it works well. It's like, what more do you really need in a machine,
But yeah, Cheyenne is what I always go to. Like, I like the Numa a lot, but I use it specifically for like Japanese stuff or like traditional stuff if I want to use a pen.
Yeah, you find your groove and what machine will do what thing, right? Like, and how you're gonna set it up.
It's magic in there somehow. And I got some coils, hatchback irons. This is a cool system.
Yeah.
Because the back of it, you can actually move it and just change the whole thing without having to bend
Interesting.
the springs. You can just
cool.
change the position of it. And there's like some guy named Coco from Spain. Yeah, Coco and Sons irons. I just like the way it looks. Golden.
I mean,
semi-light.
Something to be said about that.
Yeah.
We would just buy machines because they looked cool.
Yeah, they look nice.
It's cool looking.
It's small and it looks like it's not too heavy, but it's heavy shit.
Yeah, it is actually. For that size, you would expect it lighter for sure.
I miss the weight of the coils.
Right? I mean,
I'm slowly working my way back to coils. I have these here because I want to start using coils again.
Things come full circle.
Not for everything, but
coils are very inconvenient, especially if you're doing something small, like it's just like a walk-in.
Yeah.
To set up all those machines, have all the tubes and the different needle sizes, it's like
agreed.
It's just so much. And I could never get used to the disposable tubes because I feel like the weight balance was so off.
Yeah, it was for sure. I think that's why I was getting my hand all messed up.
No, the disposables were convenient but inconvenient at the same.
And what is that right there? Is that Armenian?
We got one more to talk about.
Wow. Well, this is like more of that, like where tattooing has gone now kind of thing. Because it's like, this is the Poseidon. I don't know who makes this.
Poseidon makes it.
Well, there you go. Poseidon makes this. We call it the Minion. I have no idea what it's actually called. But
No, it's funny. I went to the forums last night. And everybody, people who bought it because it's on Amazon now. You can buy it on Amazon. Oh, we bought it because it looks like a minion.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
It literally looks like a minion. That's hilarious.
Machine has little to no draws backs to it. Like, this is a great machine all around, and for the price that we got it, I don't even know like what they're supposed to.
Right now, it's like $55.
It's like $50. This is crazy. The one thing that sucks about this machine is the battery life. Like, it's internal. You can't do anything about it. So it's like, if anything goes wrong, if anything goes wrong, like,
it's an all or nothing.
Yeah, but the smoothness, it's quiet, and it just I love the Cheyenne, but like, for the price, you can buy one of these and use it for each side and throw it away.
Yeah,
and like, it's amazing. I don't know how
disposable tattoo machine.
Between engineering and manufacturing parts, that's the price. But
and it has that prick feature where it does like one
I haven't
stroke
even
at a time,
tried that yet. Everybody should get one of these just to try.
Just because.
All
you know what's funny?
Even non-tattooers, like, everybody should just buy one.
Oh, it's a little minion, you know?
Yeah.
I was tattooing one day, and I had these two machines out, and it was like lines and stuff like that. I had to put my Cheyenne away and pick that one up and do one pass everything.
Really?
Wow.
Same speed and everything.
Yeah,
That's
it's crazy.
Crazy.
I mean, the machine messed up eventually, right? It didn't last too long, but there's like a rattle inside. It's still running.
Like, if
I want to pry it open and see what's in there.
No, it works. And that's
just making a sound, yeah.
It just makes a sound. I don't.
Yeah, but for $35 that I paid for, I'm gonna pry it open.
For $35, I'm afraid it's gonna explode in my hand.
Yeah.
But until then, it works amazing. Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah, no, I don't know what Zidon is doing, but they're doing it right.
Yeah. All right, that's sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can find us at bullseyetattoos.com, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Bullseye Tattoo Studio on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Every one of us.
Yep.
See you there.
And next time we're gonna have more guests, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Come back, like and subscribe, all that stuff.
Yes. Smash that like button and subscribe.
Or else Switchblade Maggie.
Do I have it?